F. Scott Fitzgerald's really critically acclaimed and very popular novel, The Great Gatsby, gets another adaptation on the big screen from director Baz Luhrmann in completely and unnecessary 3D. Oh boy. What's up, guys? It's Autobot Mike 18 here with another movie review. Guys, in this video, as I said, I will be reviewing Baz Luhrmann's The Great Gatsby. The newest version of Gatsby has finally hit theaters, guys. I'm sorry for this late review, but I didn't get to see it opening weekend like I had hoped. I was busy. But I did go today, Bargain Tuesday, and like I said, I did see it in unnecessary, pointless 3D. So, yeah, right off the bat, please don't see this movie in 3D. Don't, it's a waste of money. I will talk about the 3D later on. We'll also talk about how faithful this movie is to the book later on. And I did read the book, guys. I read the book in high school. Really enjoyed the book for the most part. I'm not going to say I really enjoyed it. It's not one of my favorite books of all time. I did have a few things that were iffy about it, but overall it was good. I enjoyed it for the most part. And I have been looking forward to this movie, guys. I actually had been because, you know, the trailers made it look really good, and I'm a movie fan, so, and I wanted to see how they got the Roaring Twenties in this movie, how realistic and how authentic it was. So I was looking forward to The Great Gatsby. Reviews haven't been that strong for this movie, surprisingly. I thought it was going to be excellent. There were a few problems I had with Gatsby, but overall it's a decent movie. Could have been a lot better, but it was all right. So, guys, I want to get right into the review. Like I said, I'll talk about the 3D a little bit later on, but I will talk about it. So, first thing I want to get into, guys, is the story of The Great Gatsby. Now, it is based off the novel, and as we all know, the novel was set in the 1920s. That was one of the best eras that everyone loves, that is still alive today, that everyone loves that era, everyone remembers it fondly. It was the era of the Roaring Twenties. You know, everyone was happy. You know, unfortunately, there was prohibition. Alcohol had been banned. You know, there were the flappers. There was that was the age of jazz, and you know, everyone had just loved that time period. And it was post World War I, right after the events of World War I, and then you know, everyone was all happy. But all of that happy energy, all of that goes right down the toilet in 1929, 1930s during the Great Depression. And then, of course, it leads us into World War II and everything. But this is a period of the 1920s, the Roaring Twenties. And specifically, the film and book are both set in the summer of 1922. Our main protagonist is Nick Carraway. He is played by Tobey Maguire. He's involved in Wall Street, and he buys a house in West Egg, close to New York City. And he lives right next door to this really huge castle-like house. And the owner of that home is the very wealthy, very mysterious, and very hopeful, determined Jay Gatsby, played by Leonardo DiCaprio. And Jay Gatsby, he's very mysterious. Nick, it takes a while for him to actually meet him. And Gatsby, almost every single week, at least one day in every week, he throws these big, huge, elaborate, over-the-top parties where half of New York comes over and just parties away all night long. No one knows why he's throwing these parties. It's a mystery to everybody. No one even knows a lot about his past. So Nick goes to one of these parties. He meets Jay Gatsby, begins to learn more about him, and we learn why Gatsby is actually throwing these parties. And the reason is actually connected to Nick. He needs Nick to do something for him, and it involves rekindling a romance that Gatsby had 5 years prior to the events, to the current events in the film. And we also meet, so he's trying to rekindle a romance, so it is like a drama and a romance movie based off the book. And we also meet Nick's cousin Daisy and her husband Tom. They're also important in the movie. Daisy played by Carey Mulligan and Tom played by Joel Edgerton. And that's basically the whole plot for The Great Gatsby, guys. Now, I could get into a few other things. I could talk a little bit more about Tom's life and Daisy, but I'm not going to get into them. Just wait for the movie or read it in the book. I'm just going to move on, guys. But I want to answer the question, how faithful is this movie to the book? I will say this, story-wise, this movie is actually pretty faithful to the book. They got a lot of scenes and moments in the book really good in the movie. They did a really good job with the movie. They added a few other things into the movie, just like 2 things that were added into the movie that were never in the book. One thing, it's right in the beginning of the movie. Like the first scene in the movie, there's this extra thing that was never in the book that is added. It involves Nick's character, and I really liked how they added it. I was really pleased with that, actually. But overall, I thought the movie was very faithful to the book story-wise, and I really enjoyed that about this movie. So that's definitely, the movie gets a thumbs up for that. I really enjoyed it story-wise. The story was great, the dialogue, there were so many scenes that were right from the book, dialogue scenes that were taken right from the book, put right in the movie. Now, the next thing I want to get into, guys, is the movie's cast. This movie has an all-star cast, it really does. Of course, we have Leonardo DiCaprio playing Great Gatsby, and who better than Leonardo DiCaprio to play Gatsby? DiCaprio was fantastic, guys, as always. Did we ever doubt him? If anyone doubted him, I'm shocked, because you shouldn't have. He was fantastic in this movie, great in his scenes, really portrayed the character excellently, according to the book, in my opinion. And you just, as you're watching Leonardo DiCaprio, you just love the guy. You really love watching him. And I enjoyed watching DiCaprio in this movie. He was excellent. He really impressed me as Gatsby. Great casting choices for everyone, basically. I loved all the performances. Tobey Maguire, finally, Spider-Man, where have you been? Tobey hasn't been in a movie since Spider-Man 3. That's the last time I'd seen him, and he's finally making a comeback in The Great Gatsby as Nick. And I thought Tobey Maguire was very good in his scenes as well. Really, I mean, it's Tobey Maguire. He's a great actor, as well as DiCaprio. And there's this one scene where both of them like freak out and they're yelling, and that was just excellent. They really did good in their scenes. Carey Mulligan plays Daisy, an ex-love of Gatsby, and we all knew that if you read the book. And Carey Mulligan was excellent in the movie, in my opinion. Some people weren't too fond of her, but I thought she was good. I thought she gave a good performance overall. And we had Joel Edgerton playing Tom, Daisy's wife, Tom Buchanan, and I was kind of concerned. I was like, maybe Joel Edgerton will do good. And Joel Edgerton was really good as Tom. I thought he impressed me overall in his scenes. He really portrayed the character good as well, in my opinion. Then we have a few other actors in the movie that were good. Isla Fisher was pretty good, and Jason Clarke was pretty good in his few scenes. And then Nick's love interest in the movie, kind of love interest, Jordan, whoever played her, Elizabeth Debicki, I don't know her name, she was good as well in her scenes. But overall, guys, really good performances in this movie. The performances were top-notch in this movie. A few other things. This movie is rated PG-13. I think it's a very appropriate rating. There's some I don't even remember there being that much language anyway. There's this one scene of violence, but overall, every single teenager is going to go see this movie because they read the book, and everyone that has read the book years ago, like 20, 30, 40 years ago, are going to go see the movie. So, I mean, it already made a lot of money on the box office this weekend, so, you know what, everyone's going to go see it. It's suitable for kids, in my opinion, I would say so. So, getting on, guys, I want to get into this movie's rating. I want to give my personal rating for the film, and I want to talk about the things I liked and did not like about the movie. I got to talk about the production design and all that. I'm going to give The Great Gatsby a 7.5 out of 10. I'm sure a lot of you were probably shocked because I gave it so low rating, and I thought it was decent overall. It could have been better. Some parts were messed up, in my opinion, and I will get to that. There were a few things that were not that great with this movie. But I'll still give it a 7.5 out of 10. I couldn't get it to 8. I couldn't do it. I wanted to, but I couldn't. Again, like I said, the things I liked about the movie, the performances are all excellent. Everyone was perfectly cast. I don't even want to re-talk about that. I'm done. Excellent performances. The story, really well written. Really faithful to the book story-wise, except for 2 changes, which I actually liked. And I thought it was good story-wise. I was really impressed how faithful it was to the book, and the book was okay, and story-wise it was faithful to it, so that's great. Other things, this movie's production design is probably one of the best parts of the entire film. This is a very beautiful film to look at, visually impressive. Really impressed with it. The production design behind this movie is excellent. The set design, the visual effects, all excellent. This movie is set in the Roaring Twenties, and I wanted it to look like a movie set in the 1920s, and it did. The buildings, Gatsby's castle, Daisy and Tom's house, it all looked excellent. You know, there's this one scene that just blew me away when there's this shot of Gatsby's house, and then when the characters go into New York City and you see all the old cars and all the old billboards and everything like that in New York City. I loved looking at all that as well, and I thought the production was excellent. It reminded me of some of the scenes in King Kong that was set in the 1920s, 1930s, and I was really impressed with that. The movie's visuals, the special effects are excellent, the visuals really good. This movie should get some kind of Oscar love for the production design, possibly the visuals. It's a beautiful film to look at. I was really impressed with all that. And another thing, this movie's costume design, the costumes that the characters wore, you know, Gatsby in his tuxes, and all the women in their elaborate dresses, and all the dresses at the parties and everything like that, and all the parties that are over the top. The costumes were excellent. That is another thing I really enjoyed for this time period in the 1920s. That's basically everything I enjoyed about the movie, guys. Now unfortunately, I'm going to get into the things I did not like about the movie. First off, the movie is 2 hours. Getting into things I did not like. The movie is 2 hours and 20 minutes, maybe 2 hours and 25 minutes. The movie felt like it dragged on in a few scenes. Could have been cut down a little bit, in my opinion. I really don't like to complain about a movie's length, but yeah, it could have been cut down just a little bit. I did have that minor problem with it. Some other things I didn't like about the movie. Now, everyone has been complaining about the movie's soundtrack. The younger audiences, like myself, have enjoyed it. The older audiences, not too fond of it. The fact that there has been rap music played in the soundtrack. Now, the songs that were featured in the movie, I personally like those songs. The songs, half of the songs that are in the trailer or in the movie, that are in the trailers, are in the movie, and I like those songs. But do I feel that they should have been in the movie? No. In a few scenes, some of the rap songs, you got Jay-Z in this movie, it felt out of place. It felt like it shouldn't be there. I mean, you got modern music set in the 1920s movie. Not a huge fan with that, but that could have been fixed. That definitely they could have done something with the soundtrack. I like those songs. They didn't belong in the movie, in my opinion. Took me out of the movie in a few scenes. A few other things I didn't like about the movie. I know now everyone has been complaining about this. The direction of Baz Luhrmann. Everyone has been saying he kind of messed up the movie. I will say this: in a few scenes, the direction did feel a little messed up. A few scenes, the movie felt messy. Could have been fixed. A few scenes, the pacing felt off. This movie is really fastly paced, and then you're trying to look at one scene and appreciate the scenery and the beauty of one scene, and then there's so many cuts. You know, cuts, cut, and I'm like, whoa, just slow down a little bit. The movie's really fastly paced. I don't know if it was the pacing or the camera. I still don't know what it is, or if it was the fact that the movie was just messily edited. I don't know, but something was off there with the pacing or the editing or something. Another thing, a few of the camera shots in this movie just bothered me. They were just strange. There's this one shot, characters are at dinner, the camera does an over-the-head shot, and then it fades out, and it shows, you know, a character's face or something, or it shows a part of the room, and then it does it again, and it does it like 3 times in the beginning of the movie, and I said, what the hell is going on? Why are you doing this like 3 times? I don't want to see the same thing over again. It was just messy, just didn't feel right. A few scenes of this movie just felt messy and they didn't feel right. That's the word. Another thing, everyone has also been complaining about Baz Luhrmann's, the fact that Baz Luhrmann was too ambitious with this movie, that he was over the top with the style. Now, I know the 1920s was an over the top period, you know, everything was over the top. Did Baz Luhrmann go over the top in some scenes? Yes. But, like, in the party scenes, they were really overdone. But I felt that they should have been, because those parties really were that way, in my opinion, according to the book. They were really that elaborate, really over the top, and I felt that they were good. But there's this one scene in an apartment in New York, in the beginning of the movie, these characters are drinking, and these guys are playing jazz on fire escapes, and I don't know if it was the editing in that scene, too many shots or cuts or whatever. That scene felt really over the top with the music and everything. That scene just felt off, you know. It didn't feel right. There's a few scenes like that are in the movie. So, you know, there is stuff like that. Was the direction iffy? Yeah. Could have been better. Maybe if those few things would have been fixed or would have been better, I would have really enjoyed the movie even more. And finally, guys, the last thing I didn't like about this movie, and I really had to lower this movie's score because of this reason, is, of course, as I mentioned, the pointless, unnecessary 3D. Now, you guys are probably saying, why did you see this movie in 3D? Well, I'll tell you why I saw it in 3D. My friends and I went to go see, a bunch of friends and I went to go see it. It was Bargain Tuesday. The price of the 3D was the price of a regular 2D ticket on any day. So we decided to go see it in 3D because it was Bargain Tuesday. And the 3D was completely unnecessary. There were like maybe a few scenes where the 3D felt there. For the good majority of the movie, the 3D felt like it wasn't even there. In a few scenes, it felt like it just was just bad, you know? It felt like it took me out of the movie in a few scenes. In a few scenes, I took my glasses off to check the screen and see how blurry it was. It wasn't even blurry. It felt like nothing was there. So horrible post-converted 3D. If you're going to see The Great Gatsby, do not see it in 3D. Please, it's a waste of money. Iron Man 3, way better to look at in 3D than The Great Gatsby. Great Gatsby does not deserve to be in 3D. I mean, apart from a few scenes that looked okay, the 3D's really not good at all. So, there's that. Anyway, guys, that's basically it. That's all I have to talk about with The Great Gatsby. Overall, I enjoyed it. I thought it was very faithful to the book. The performances were good, and I loved the production. But then there were those problems. It was a little messy. The direction was kind of messed up a little bit, and you know, kind of sloppy, kind of over the top in a few scenes. So yeah, guys, 7.5 out of 10 for The Great Gatsby. Overall, I thought it was decent. Would I recommend you guys see it? Yeah, I know everyone's gonna go see it anyway, so yeah, I would recommend you guys see it. If you're iffy about it, I would say just wait and rent it, because you might feel it's a waste of money. Just don't see it in 3D. Please don't see it in 3D. Yeah, guys, that's basically it. If you haven't read the book, probably wait till the movie comes out. Read the book first, then watch the movie, in my opinion, because you'll know what's going on. Is this movie worth a buy on Blu-ray? I will buy it on Blu-ray, probably, but not at full price. It's definitely not worth full price, but I would want to see it again. I mean, there were some redeeming parts. I thought the story got really intense towards the end. I forgot to mention this, and I mean, it really got interesting and entertaining towards the end of the movie, whereas a few scenes dragged a little bit, but the end of the movie really just, I was into it, so there's that. Forgot to mention that as well. So yeah, very faithful to the book story-wise. Few minor problems, but it's a decent movie overall. Could have been a lot better, but still decent. So guys, what did you think of The Great Gatsby? Let me know down below in the comments. I hope you enjoyed this review, guys. Anything you want, any questions, anything, let me know what you thought of the movie. I'm curious to know what you guys thought of The Great Gatsby. So thanks for watching, guys. Bye.